the car, it takes a lot of precision. So guys, can you talk us through about the process of learning the buttons and everything? And were you by any means surprised by your own reactions when you saw yourselves with 4 cameras around?
Yeah, the funny thing is, because of the strike, we actually got better. So when we went back to Abu Dhabi, you said, oh, you guys look better. Because we had more training to do. But with regards to precision, I mean, it was about repetition. There was so much training that went into being at these tracks that we're going to shoot on. And, you know, I have to tip my hat to Luciano Bacchetta and Craig Goby, who just were with us every single step of the way. Really, is the only person I could communicate with while I was driving. So it was like a marriage, really. And I tip my hat to those guys, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know how I would have been able to pull this off.
Brad?
Sorry, what was the question?
It was if you were by any means surprised by your own reactions, and also if you can tell us a little bit about the experience of driving an F1 car, because it takes a lot of precision to take turns. And you're a fan of the sport, so you know.
Yes, I am. It's a religion for me as well. It's incredible what these guys can do. You know, we all think we're backseat drivers in a way that we would know how to handle it, and the precision. As Kerry said, they're going from changing time zones to time zones. They're taking these corners and pulling 5Gs. It is staggering, and the idea that these guys can go around a 4-mile track, a 3.5-mile track, and all be within 1 second of each other. I mean, it's awesome. So for us to even get to experience a hint of that is such a high. I would love to explain what downforce feels like, the way these cars can sit. It is awesome. I don't know how to do any better than that, because there's nothing I can compare it to. It's such a high, and the fact that we got to be tourists in this ecosystem for a little bit was just an experience I'll never forget. Never.
I think none of us will, because what you did is also unique. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that on screen. And actually, we have a question from the press. Becca Salas from Fuera de Foco wants to know, Kerry and Damson, this question is for you. Can you share an anecdote or moment on set where you really felt that team connection and that you were making something really special together?
We have the same one, so.
Yeah. Oh, so you better not steal it. Park for me in Hungary. I know. I loved that day so much. Because it was just like, we were all nervous, like even the camera people were nervous because they had to walk backwards. And we were told 20 times by F1, don't touch the cars. If you touch the cars, that team is going to be disqualified, like the real team in real life.
It's the end of the race.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah, it's the end of the race. That's when the cars all pull in at the end and they have to check that they didn't kind of cheat or whatever, right? They have to weigh them and stuff. And so you can't touch them. If you touch them, you know, they're disqualified. So we as a filmmaking actors was like, don't touch them. So everyone was so nervous about touching these cars. And then it was a beautiful moment for our team in the movie. So we had to have a great feeling. And then everybody worked together, like the AD department and the camera department and the sound department and stills photography. It was just like all of us had to be great at the exact same time. And so just the feeling when we did it was like, I was so high for so long. Yeah, yeah.
How long did we have to shoot that scene?
Probably 5 minutes. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then this confetti came, do you remember at one point? It was just like, oh my God. It was so amazing. Yeah, and that felt like it wasn't cast and crew. It was like we were all kind of one. And it was like, good luck, well done, yay. Feeling. It was just really like a bonding moment for us, I think.
It really shows the film, and I actually want to ask you, Damson, you got to talk, and also you, Brad, you got to experience Formula One firsthand with all the people who stars in Formula One, you know, all the drivers, Max, Charles, as if they were my friends. See what I'm doing here? I don't even know these guys. But what was it like to interact with them? What did you learn? Like, what kind of questions did you get to ask?
I mean, they were just so accommodating, really. They just really made us feel at home. I remember Carlos Sainz was the one who always would come up to the garage and say hello. He'd try and sneak into the shop as well. So
It's a movie star.
yeah, he's probably going to be acting on it. But no, they were all amazing, and you know,
Lewis, man. Like Lewis Hamilton coming on set and just bringing so much joy and passion and just supporting us every step of the way, calling BS on stuff that wouldn't happen in F1. It was just a dream come true.
Yeah, it was incredible. We couldn't have done this without the support of F1, the teams, the principals, the drivers themselves. I think at first, you know, we had to go in, we all went to even driver meetings just to let them know, to try to earn their trust, to let them know how much we respect the sport, how much we want to get it right, and we want to include them, and if we're ever in the way, please tell us, and we'll scram. But exactly what Damson's saying about Lewis as coming in, it was so smart of Joe to bring him in first and foremost, because that knowledge is unfathomable, and we would have meetings with him, some 12-hour meetings, just as we developed the story, developed the script, and he would tell us his experiences, and a lot of him is in the film as far as certainly our summation where we end. And I mean, he is so knowledgeable, even in the post portion of the film, putting the film together, he could tell you if we were in the wrong gear at turn 6, or that there's a reverb when you go down the straight, make sure you have that. I mean, the race knowledge is incredible. He's a gem and a gent, a gentleman and a gent. I mean, he's
We got it, don't worry.
He's a Gemini. He's a Gemini human being and an absolute gentleman. That's what I think.
Joe, are you gonna hire Carlos Sainz for your next film?
Carlos, you know, yeah, he made some surprise appearances in the film, and like Brad said, I think he could be a movie star. Actually, they're all very natural on camera and great guys. I mean, beyond Lewis and Carlos, you know, George Russell, you know, came by the set, you know, and wanted to see what we're doing. It was great. They were all great.
Jeremy, we have another question for you, actually talking about Lewis Hamilton. Do you want me to ask you in Spanish? I don't know anymore.
It's viewer's choice, really.
We're actually live in plenty of countries, so that's why I'm going for English right now, and not only here in Mexico, but I love hearing the Spanish in this room. It makes me happy.
I'll talk Spanish from now on.
Okay. Damson, ¿qué quieres decir? Sí, gracias. Gracias always saves the day. Jeremy, you have Lewis Hamilton as a producer. What kind of decisions did you have to make together?
I mean, Brad just spoke to that, and really Brad and Joe and Damson, the actors, and had more dialogue with Lewis, you know, from way back. My own experience speaks to what Brad was just saying, which is, like, I think this film transcends sports and actually is a beautiful story about, as Brad said at the end, actually something about life that's very universal, about second chances and what we're all pursuing and what makes us happy and where do we find home or where do we find purpose. And I do feel that was inspired by conversations that we had with him about kind of what is this all about at the end of the day. And I'm very grateful for that. And I think the way that that Brad, you know, embodied that as this character who doesn't say a whole lot, you know, but you feel deeply for him. And I think where he takes us is someplace that's quite sublime in the end. And I think it's going to be a very, very crowd-pleasing, wonderful thing for people to experience. And again, we owe a debt to Lewis for that.